Fraud, embezzlement, nepotism, conspiracy, these sound like traits you could appropriate to a fairy tale villain. But what if this is how the movie you're looking at right now was made? You may even be familiar with the TikTok sound.
It's my curse.
Literally. I can't take this off ever.
Along with the release of Wicked, I thought it would be a good time to take a look back at how another movie based in the same universe actually, allegedly, broke the law to be made. This is Legends of Oz: Dorothy's Return.
You're watching Matthew Rogers.
When I say the 2013 Wizard of Oz movie, you probably immediately think of Oz the Great and Powerful, the James Franco, Mila Kunis live-action origin story of the wizard, and an attempt by Disney to launch a fresh franchise. But what if I told you there was another attempt at launching a Wizard of Oz animated franchise the same year? Well, that's what this is, and I don't think I need to tell you that neither franchise has got even close to getting a cinematic universe, especially if the target demographic were watching masterpieces like Iron Man 3 and Thor 2 and Grown Ups 2. Wow, 2013 really did need to pick a struggle. But here we are with two Oz movies, both technically authorised sequels as The Wizard of Oz is in the public domain, but let's focus on The Legends of Oz. The Legends of Oz: Dorothy's Return from Piranha Studios and Summertime Entertainment follows Dorothy just one day after the events of The Wizard of Oz. One day later for her, but years later for those in Oz, where time passes a lot quicker. After the tornado, Dorothy's house is condemned before she is promptly retrieved by Scarecrow, Tin Man and Lion to help them face a new evil in Oz, in the form of the Wicked Witch of the West brother, the Jester, who kidnapped Glinda off screen before the movie even started. The Jester wants to rule Emerald City, and that's about the entire plot. Let's just say I think a Rotten Tomatoes score of 17% sets the scene quite accurately here. But what completely blew my mind is just how stacked this cast is. Here I was thinking this is a cheaply made animated TV movie, but look at this cast list. Lea Michele, Martin Short, Dan Aykroyd, Tom Kenny of SpongeBob fame, Megan Hilty, who strangely enough played Glinda in Wicked on Broadway in the early 2000s, Kelsey Grammer, who won a Razzie for this, Worst Supporting Actor for the role of Tin Man, and in the role of a lifetime, Patrick Stewart, as, I kid you not, a piece of wood that they turn into a tugboat who is named Tug. They got their money's worth out of this cast as most of these talented vocalists were put up to the task of singing a number of original songs in true Land of Oz fashion, and whatever this is. But saying they got their money's worth is probably a very poor choice of words, as the challenges Dorothy faced in Oz are nothing compared to the real-life legal battles the producers found here in the real world. In 2019, a court case was heard against producers Greg Centineo, Roland Carroll and Ryan Carroll, claiming that they had scammed over 1,800 individual investors to fund the movie. At first, the sheer amount of investors was seen as a positive aspect of the film's production, so positive in fact that they were allegedly a threat to the major film studios. David Yancey, one of the film's investors, made a post on Facebook explaining how the investors of the film believes Hollywood and Hollywood critics alike had initiated a smear campaign against them to ensure the film did not succeed, saying, quote, "The big Hollywood studios do not want this effort to succeed because they don't want any serious new competition. Maybe we got their attention because they amassed their army of top-paid critics who wielded their poison pens in a smear campaign against this wonderful family picture. These seemingly aren't just reviews of an average film not liked by critics, they are propaganda written expressly to dissuade everyone from seeing the film," end quote. Which is not a completely ridiculous theory in and of itself, however this did not take into consideration two major contributing factors. The movie is, I would say, objectively bad. Sure, the target demographic is probably younger than I, but there isn't enough comedy, heart, or story for even kids to grab onto in my opinion. Oh, that, and the producers allegedly raised over $122 million and only spent $70 million of this on the movie. Then of that $122 million, only made $21 million back. meaning the movie lost $101 million, but $52 million of the total budget allegedly went to, well, that's the question. There's been accusations that one of the producers, Greg Centineo, allegedly used some of the millions of dollars in this discrepancy to promote the acting career of his son Noah Centineo. Noah at the time being a Disney Channel star, and since then doing a whole bunch of Netflix content. Mind you, laundering money through independent movies is nothing new, but rarely a case is filed against producers with specific accusations regarding the allocation of funds. Producer Ryan Carroll said fundraising is, quote, not really what I do. I optioned the books and oversaw the production. It wasn't my responsibility to put the funding together. That's a separate entity. We're a production company. There's an LLC, which is Emerald City of Oz, and that was their responsibility to put the funding together. But that wasn't what I worked on, end quote. However, the Wrap.com asked insiders working with the producers who said, quote, their business model is based on raising money and taking a percentage. They never show anything to anybody. Money just shifts around and they write things up. They line their pockets, they think they're businessmen, end quote. However, despite all this, as well as the Carrolls being investigated by the SEC in 1997 and being required to refund investors $589,000 in 2011, the lawsuits brought against the producers here ended up being focused on civil accusations of fraud rather than criminal charges. And for this reason, there does not appear to have been any formal charges or convictions for now. Despite the film's presumptuous title to have many Legends of Oz spin-offs and the significant underperformance at the box office losing the studio millions, it was still reported that not one but two sequels and a television series were already in production. However, to no one's surprise, as of today, no updates regarding any of these have been announced, and the websites for the movie and Summertime Entertainment have been pulled down. The only active page left is the Facebook page of Summertime Entertainment, confirming it is a producer of high quality and family friendly content. So after this and Oz the Great and Powerful, it's not looking good for an Oz extended universe. But could there have been if either of these movies were enough to capture the public eye for more than just a moment, and didn't lose millions to boot? Regardless, over 10 years later, I think the inevitable success and infinite marketing budget of the Wicked movies parts 1 and 2 will give the monopoly to Universal for some time to come. But what do you think? Does Legends of Oz seem like a fraudulent money laundering scheme, or just a misunderstanding? Until next time, you can keep up with what I'm watching by following me on TikTok, Twitter, and Letterboxd, which are all linked in the description. But for now, this is Matt Rogers, and that is all.